kick the show off right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me, cause
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight.
let's get a topic straight, let's get things good, let's do everything that we should.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
How y'all doing? I hope you guys are doing well. It's another episode of Project Open Mic. I'm your host, Tig. Hope y'all doing well, and hopefully that the storm that just came through, because we gotta think a little bit about it. But people in Florida and in Georgia, South Carolina, and also North Carolina, hope everybody's safe. Hope everybody's doing well, and I hope that it didn't cause too much disruption. I mean, my family is safe, but I hope your family is safe out there as well. Again, thank you for joining me to give me your mind, your time, your ears, as we talk about another set of topics again tonight. So tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about, I've said it many times before, that you got to be careful of how you watch the media. You got to watch the companies, corporations, all that stuff, all of them, because they do some stuff that's just that's not cool. So just want to make sure everything's up and going again. And again, I want to also thank everybody out there for joining Project Open Mic the ways we always do. We have different platforms, of course. If you want to listen to the platform or share this later on, we are on multiple platforms. Go to your favorite platform and just put in Project Open Mic, and you will basically you spread it out, Project Open Mic like this, and you mostly should see this symbol, and you should be here. So again, right now we're recording live on Facebook, YouTube, Tempo FM, Twitch TV, Nico, you live now, you live and now. Also Spotify, if you want that, if you want to places, Spotify, Radio Republic, iHeartRadio, we're on that too. So just put in Project Open Mic in your favorite platform, and you can share the content or listen to us later on, because sometimes you guys are going to get the rebroadcasting. With that said, I want to talk about, like I said, so before we get a little bit the show tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about that's our main topic right there. And again, if you have a platform that has like YouTube or Facebook or anything that has like a description, there's a link tree inside the description to the many other platforms if you want to share the content, or you choose a preferable way of listening or watching the show. So thank y'all again for your time and ears in this situation. Okay, so tonight's show, like I said, it's about how these corporations and the rich people and everything divide politicians as well, to divide and conquer, and to keep the masses stupid so they don't have to do anything. I might name this part 1 because there was a very intriguing video I would like to talk about, but since I started a little late, I'm not gonna stay up that late to do that. So, but it might be part 1. But yeah, Now, as I said before, I say it again. Yes, as you can see, I'm a black man. Yes, the nuances of stuff don't go over my head. I just don't like to be talked down because people think that, oh, just because of certain things, I should be this way because I'm black. Now, my skin color does it define certain things? Yes, but it doesn't define who I am. I am me. Take it as me. I am me. Okay. I do what I am different from any other person in the world. Really, I mean, I don't even carry some most of the characteristics of some black people because again, there are different types of black people. That's one of the reasons I always put at the end of the show. Remember, there's evil in all shapes, color, race, height, sexuality. I mean, there's evil. There's throughout. There's evil throughout all these things. Okay, so we ain't no special in that regard, but I have noticed now, as you see as well too, that I'm not now. I should say I noticed a long time ago that we're arguing over the most stupidest things in America, and the only reason we're doing that is because the news media and the politician wants it to be that way. I don't care if Democrat or Republican, it makes no difference. We're fighting. We're fighting on all fronts. We're fighting on religion. We're fighting on we're fighting in politics. We're fighting about consumerism. We're fighting over evil right now. They're talking about putting back the mask mandate. Okay, you want to put a mask mandate back because of sickness and stuff? Hey, if it's, I would say, acceptable, I could get it, but we already know they don't want to do that. They don't. They want full control over or autonomy over what we've done or what we do. And I think because you guys let that genie out of the bag in 2020, a lot of people are not gonna conform back to this. It's not gonna happen. And they just want to have control over you once again. Because there's a reason why they want to have a control. They want to control because they know if we could control you, they know that if they can control you, we could make tons of money off of y'all fighting, not coming together, making everything looks cool. That's just what they like. They want to divide us, keep it going. A lot of Democrats' power is because of the whole race hustling. Let's talk about race. Race. Everything. It's one of the dumbest thing, whatever. If they can't talk about race, they're going to talk about your sexuality. To the degree. That's what they're going to keep on doing. They're going to talk about all that stuff. Then, with that, they're going to get their power. All their powers is coming through. That's why I say right now, the COVID thing, again, for the people who died, I feel bad for the people who died and many more. But that was overblown to a height. And I don't think a lot of people, because again, the lockdowns caused a lot of people to lose their jobs. It caused the economy to tank. It caused gas prices to go high, as we see. It caused not only the gas prices to go high, it caused mass inflation. Again, a lot of people, we saw that coming. It caused mass inflation.
Enter the speedy.
And also, it caused not only mass inflation, which affects the food, because food and everything is crazy, but it also creates like I said, cost of living is just ridiculous. I feel for a lot of young people right now who's out there trying to see if they can find jobs, who's trying to find and some they get some good jobs, and food costs way crazy. Again, I grew up in an era where gas was 99 cents. Forbid that ever come back again. Came close with down to like $1.70, on a special on a certain president, but we ain't supposed to say that. According to the media, we ain't supposed to say that. Also, we were down. I just remember when, like I said, the 99-cent dollar menu was dollar menu. We don't have that no more. Quarter pound. I remember quarter pound and cheese and all that stuff was like. That was like $4-3. Oh, sorry about that. $4-3. Now it's like $6-7 just to get a meal from certain things. Now that's crazy. So, what can we do about that? I don't know. But again, they're trying to put COVID back in limelight. So let's do a little quickness of humor about it, because it's funny how, again, Fauci wants it to be back what it is. So I'm just going to do a little fun about it. We're going to talk about some stuff, and then we're going to talk about the main topic tonight about diversity, like I just brought up. Because, again, they just want us to keep on fighting.
Our next guest is just great. He's returning to the public after a long hiatus. I want to welcome back SARS-CoV-2.
That's right, I'm back.
It's so great. It's so great to hear you're going on tour again.
Yes, well, there's nothing more rewarding than making people cough, and I've got some new material that I really think is going to kill.
That's great.
Oh my God, Freedom Tunes. If you guys never check out Freedom Tunes. They're really good at doing the sarcastic stuff. Really good.
So what kind of lockdown policies are you hoping to see? How many unvaccinated Republicans do you think you're gonna get?
Yeah, see, uncomfortable truths.
I'm really not here to get political.
What?
I'm trying to get to the pure essence of my craft lately and attack indiscriminately.
Basically, you did.
I'm going to get the people you don't like. Those are the ones who will get infected.
And behind the scenes,
What the heck was that?
What?
You don't want to get political?
Fauci, I got into this business to make people cough, and now sometimes I don't even feel like I'm a real virus. I've become one of those political viruses.
So what?
So what? Every time I kill someone, it's, oh, look, the dumb anti-science Republican died, or, the Democrat got the jab 7 times and look where that got him. It's never, COVID, the terrible and deadly plague has struck us once more. I tremble before thee, O invisible death. I'll never be like the greats.
This is how you've branded yourself. Get over it.
Is it? The Republicans didn't believe I even existed, and the Democrats thought I wouldn't infect them if they were at their BLM rallies or got their jab.
ironic is some of these stuff, ain't it?
Yeah, politics helped me to go viral. It launched my career, but that's not what I asked for. I'm finished. The audience is tired of it. I'm tired of it. We need to move on.
Are you forgetting who made you?
You made nothing. I mutated myself in a bat.
Oh, your backstory's as manufactured as everyone else's in this business. COVID? Or should I call you Guanzhong Bingdu?
Where did you hear that name?
A little bird flu told it to me. I could destroy you like a puppy in a science experiment. And if you stop serving my purposes, I will. Do we have an understanding? Or is that too political for you?
Oh, I'm gonna get ya, but not after curfew, and not if you're protesting. That's right. Better listen to Fauci.
And that kind of like the truth of going, yeah, listen to Fauci, yeah, okay, yeah. Not lunar about who created it. It's just ridiculous stuff. But that's not here or there, okay? That's not here or there. I hope you guys just, like I said, be careful. Like I said before, when this COVID was going on in the first place, I stated, and I have stated on this my show, all right? Wear the mask. Protect yourself always. Do the best you can for you and your family. Make sure you have to do what it is. But again, I am against locking down because it doesn't do not a dang thing, and it's been proven over and over and over and over and over and over again. It didn't do nothing. It didn't stop nothing, I should say. It did something. It bankrupt a lot of countries, made a lot of countries go, and the citizens go whatever. So again, just take it with a grain of salt. But if you are, got high, high mobilities, take care of yourself and protect yourself. Not a problem. You wearing a mask doing that. That's not me. That's a personal choice. You gotta protect yourself, protect your family. I get that. Okay, with that stated now, we're gonna go into a little bit of again. I want to bring this up because I want to be fair. I am a person like that. Now there was a mass shooter down in Florida before the hurricane came, and he was a racist. He was a racist white supremacist person. I never said that it ain't gonna be that. I just said this is it's not the majority. One and two. There are gonna be that. There are gonna be black people who hate white people. There are gonna be white people that hate black people. It's a thing. It's a truism, but it's not the majority of people. And the American experience has worked out pretty daggone well for 200 something years. Now lately, in the last 10 years, they're trying to destroy the thing. But again, that's mostly politicians and rich people that try to keep their power. They're trying to do their hustling and stuff right now. That's what's going on. And they're not like, nope. We want to keep this straight. So there was a guy who killed a woman and two kids, two black people down in Florida, and he turned gonna kill himself. Thank you.
You piece of loser.
You did that, so we know we ain't gonna have a trial and all kind of stupid stuff, whatever. Thank you. I don't like that. I don't like having these stupid trials when we know. I've said it again before. If we got you on camera doing these heinous crimes, it's an instant done. Why are we wasting taxpayers' money? We should have wasted nobody's money. Bing bang boom, you're guilty. Rest of your life, or if you're in a state that don't do execution, rest of your life in jail. Or if you do execution, like I said, I have the look, carbon monoxide poisoning. Sorry, that's a better way because again, these people going around killing heinous people, and they get off with an ejection or spend the rest of the jail, but other people suffer. I don't like that kind of law retribution in that regard. Just saying. With that said, let's talk about the situation down there. I like what I like when the cops have their backbones. So the officer who was supposed to be doing this stuff down there, I like what he did. I like the backbone he did. So that's what I want to show you guys right now. Because, again, just like with the COVID stuff, in the scandemic, they're trying to put this situation back in. They're trying to put you back in your box so you could not be an informed, rational, thinking human being. They want you to be scared, coward, back in your box. We want you to fight that person and that person so they don't see, so y'all don't see when I'm stealing your money, taking your cash, robbing you, doing all this stuff. That's what the politicians and the powerful, rich, and the corporation stuff wants to do.
Well, we have to stop people that have bad intentions.
Thank you. Holy smoke. Thank you. Have bad intentions. Because evil is evil, good is good. Evil comes in all shape, size, color, height, creed, nationality. It makes no difference. Thank you, sir.
Guns, the story is always about guns. The people are bad.
Thank
This guy's
you.
a bad guy.
Yes.
If I could take my gun off right now lay it on this counter, nothing will happen. It'll sit there. But as soon as a wicked person grabs a hold of that handgun and starts shooting people with it, there's the problem. The problem is the individual.
Hallelujah. Thank you. Praise you, sir. God bless you. And a lot of you sheriffs need to stick up like that. That is the truth. That's literally the truth. Stop pushing this stupid narrative. And I'm happy that he stand up. So I give credit where credit due. Thank you, sir, for doing that. That's nonsense. And that's again, that's the journalism pushing it again. That's the point. They push that because they want to keep the fighting between us.
Now, guns are a tool that people use to do horrible things.
Just like a knife, just like a car, just like a baseball bat. I wish I could show that video. It has cursing in it, and I don't think I want to do that tonight. But I'll tell you the story. It was this guy went into the what do you call it? He went into the dang it. It was a black guy. Sorry, but it was a black guy. He went into a store with a baseball bat, and this white guy came out. He said, "Okay, let's do it outside." He went outside and he sprayed the video. He sprayed the guy with mace, and he was like, "Oh," and he sprayed him. He doused him good, and he told him, "I told you to get a big bag of shut the F up." But look at you now coughing. Like, it was just like, I liked it. I wish I could play because I got a lot of cursing, but hey. But it's cool. But I like what the officer said. Praise the officer for that.
But it's the individuals that wield these things. So we are working hard to try to stop that. But in this situation, in this case, there was nothing illegal about him owning the firearms.
Exactly. That's the part I like about that. There was nothing illegal about the gun. It sucks. People will do that. It's not illegal to have, for a person to go and have a car, but it could still run down people. It's not illegal to have a baseball bat to play baseball, but a person can use the baseball bat to do things. Horrible things. Knives are used to cut. Yeah, I use knives every day. Cut my food, cut my sandwich, cut my meats. Yeah, and this person could take a knife and go and stab people. Evil people, point blank, period. There's no specialty about it, bros. Evil's evil. So I want to thank, and this is even evil, but I thank the sheriff for standing up and telling the truth. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, with that said, let's go on to see some other evils and some stupidity at best. Chicago, again, you voted for the moron. I don't know why y'all do that. I do not know why we vote for stupid people to hurt us. That don't make sense to me. But y'all voted for Brandon Johnson.
You piece of loser.
Who's a crazy person. So there's two type of Chicago is just written with bad policies, bad people. So I want to talk about this, and then we're gonna get into the diversity stuff in a little bit.
My car was stolen from the Humboldt Park area. It was at the end of June.
On Sunday, August 6th,
I left my house to go pick up groceries and found it was gone.
My vehicle was stolen in Chicago Sunday.
These Kia owners are the latest victims in a very long and growing list of individuals who've had their cars stolen across Chicago. That's why the city of Chicago is suing automakers Kia and Hyundai.
It's only fair that these companies be held accountable for their failure to include just a very basic safety feature.
Attorney Steve Kane says the two companies have allegedly deceived customers into thinking the vehicles possess anti-theft technology. The lawsuit states the theft surged last summer once videos on social media were posted showing the security defects.
To the point where in some months, more than 60% of all the car thefts in the city are of Hyundais and Kias.
To make matters worse, Kane says the stolen vehicles have been used to commit other violent crimes.
Yep.
That include robbery and murder. So it's not just the joyriding, which is bad in and of itself.
Kelly says her Zeltos was totaled when police found it days after she reported it stolen. She shared this surveillance video to show the moments after she says a group of boys drove off with it.
They took my car, they flashed their brights to the other kid that was like waiting nearby. He rides his divvy bike up, dumps the divvy bike, and then jumps in the car and they take off. They run a stop sign. They're speeding.
Yeah, he sees all.
And these are the brightest bright scholars we need. The bright scholars. So, Brandon Johnson, instead of, okay, you want us to Kia Honda for the low end cars, yeah, cheap, and they don't have the inhibitors in there. Okay. First, lock your cars, of course. Me and my wife would know that situation as we have a situation, we know what it is. Lock your cars, take your keys from there. But a lot of people won't be doing this if, crime was not that bad, if we put people in jail, Johnson. So you want to sue the automakers for this as the crisis gets worse. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes a ton of sense.
Claiming that their cars are too easy to steal. Mayor Johnson saying, quote, "The failure of Kia and Hyundai to install basic auto theft prevention technology in these models is sheer negligence. And as a result, a citywide and nationwide crime spree around automobile theft has been unfolding." Hold
up. Wait a minute. This Kia and Honda have these cars all over the world. It's any kind of way that only Chicago is the big explosion of this? Because I remember a long time ago, it was like Hondas and stuff, and Toyotas people wanted to steal because they were worth something. Nah, it's because these little badass babies kids got no parents taking care of them, and of course the mayor, who is a moron,
You piece of loser.
These kids are going out there doing things that they should not be doing.
As motor vehicle thefts are up in the city, 104% year over year. Look at that, 19,000 car thefts.
Holy Jesus. What is that?
19,000. Since 2022, 19,000 cars.
In 2023. Here with reaction, Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez. Raymond, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
What do you make of your mayor saying, we've had like 20,000 car thefts, but essentially it's the car's fault?
Clearly, we don't have a crime problem. We have a Kia problem in the
city
of Chicago, according to Mayor Johnson.
Right.
And the numbers speak for themselves. 104% increase from last year, a 234% increase in vehicle thefts from 2 years ago. But yet it's the car's fault. It's the fact that they are so easily taken by criminals who run rampant in the city of Chicago. But we have yet to hear our mayor say anything, word one, about the criminals running rampant in our streets. And all he does in turn is lambast the media, lambast those who try to hold criminals accountable by playing word games with individuals, saying that you can't call them mob action because that's little Capones. You can't call them criminal youth because they're just making silly decisions. And the ones who are taking note are the irrepentant individuals who are committed to acts of crime in Chicago.
Yeah, so how stupid is this guy?
Thank you. Thank you. That literally is what it is. That's the situation. But wait! There's more!
And organized looting last night, and you're calling to defund the police and organize.
Hear that again. Organized looting, and he's still calling to defund the police.
What the fuck? Looting last night, and you're calling to defund the police. Explain that.
Yeah, what we're seeing is obviously an outbreak of incredible frustration. And
Frustration? What about the crime, sir? Take care of the crime. You voted for this, Chicago. You voted for this moron.
Anguish that
you went from horrible to what's worse than horrible? Unconceivable.
Communities that have been isolated through poverty over generations.
What bull crap? What? Wait. What? Say that again.
And anguish that communities that have been isolated through poverty over generations.
Motherfucker. That don't even make no goddamn sense.
And what we have is sort of a typical, very standard, quite frankly, a very tired response to the regularly scheduled pandemic, which is structural racism. And that.
This is why I got named the show what I named the show tonight. You telling me it's obvious. They see it. He knows it. But he's playing that game just to keep the people, keep you regular folks, your normies in check, so you know that y'all gotta worry about. Yeah, vote for me. Keep that while I be over here getting all that sweet taxpayer money.
That response has been to increase police presence.
Yes.
That has not led to anything of substance to secure communities and to make communities.
Bull crap. You know it does, because they don't try this in a lot of red states now. Me and my wife watched a video where some of your kids came from your county, went down to another county, and they said, the cop was like, no, we arrested them, and they arrested them. And they weren't playing in the other counties.
Much later.
It only takes seconds. You're looking at Illinois Auto Repair in Logan Square, the business targeted by armed robbers Saturday. Take a look. You see two people in hooded sweatshirts run up to the business, guns in hand. The owner tells me they said, don't move and give me all of your money. They got away with a lot of it in less than a minute. More than $3,000 from the three men they robbed here. Those three men, a co-owner of the business, a family friend, and a customer. Now 3 of dozens of victims from this weekend.
Tracking an increase in violent robberies for us this morning. Good morning, Anita.
Good morning, Sylvia. You know, these attacks are just crazy. So you're somebody just walking on the street, a car pulls up, people jump out, and you are ambushed. I mean, basically, that is what we're talking about here. What we understand is that around 1:22 in the morning, the men jump out of a white Kia. They're armed with guns. The victim never sees it coming, and clearly they are surprised. Let's look at the video right now when they are robbed. Now, around 1:35, it was a 24-year-old shot less than 2 miles away, and he reports that gunfire came from a Kia. So what's going on here is for weeks we have seen a surge in these overnight robberies. In fact, this week alone, there were more than a dozen of these cases with a concentration in the northwest and the west side of the city. One night, there were actually 4 armed robberies in the same night, all taking place within a 15-minute span. And in each case, they all had a similar MO. 3 to 4 armed suspects jumped.
Look at it now on the bottom of the screen. So, car, all right? Car, not robberies, but stealing car, auto thefts, Grand Theft Auto, up 104%. Spikes in robberies in the north side. That's just one part of the 107 from last year. This is getting out of hand.
Jumping out of a dark gray sedan, demanding the victims' wallets, purses, cell phones. So Chicago police say the robbery crime rates are up. If you want to know how much, it's a big number, a whopping 107% in just 7 days.
7 days?
And the neighborhoods we're talking about here, because you're probably wondering where specifically is this happening, we're talking about mostly the Ukrainian Village, Lincoln Park, Lakeview, Hermosa, Jefferson Park. All of these neighborhoods is where, if you live there, you need to be aware, especially if you're somebody walking, you don't expect something like this to happen. So what CPD is doing is they're putting more officers on the street. We're talking about the West Loop, West Town, Pilsen. They're going to be doing this over the next 3 months, and what they're hoping is that they're able to combat this problem. In fact, there's an alderman in that ward there, 36th Ward, who says that next week they're going to hold a meeting so that the community can come together, maybe discuss some of these concerns, talk about similarities. Sometimes you get information at these meetings where you're, not aware of, and that helps police too. That meeting, in case you want to attend, it is set for Tuesday at 6 o'clock at the Ukrainian Village Cultural Center.
That is crazy how crime has gone up again in these Democratic-run cities, from again Maryland to Chicago to New York to mostly California, Portland, Oregon. Now there are places in red states that I get as well too. Memphis is doing that. That's a red state, but they got that. Kentucky, they have that situation as well too. But this whole defund the police was a horrible idea. Horrible idea. It was used as a distraction. That's what it was used. And people want it because they said race, as you heard Brandon Johnson said, race, poverty and all that stuff. You know what will stop poverty? Maybe you stop these bad apples, these kids who came from bad situations, put them in jail. They know that they have consequences. Again, there's a reason why that you go to, let's say you go to Dubai, you go to these Middle Eastern countries, you only have 2 times to steal. That's it. After that, you ain't stealing no more, guarantee. Cause they do the old choppy. So you want to play games, go ahead. You have to have the consequences, so they don't do that. But they don't want to mess around with that kind of situation. So, well, tonight, let's talk about the diversity stuff and what we're talking about. Because everybody was like, oh, diversity is your strength. Yes, diversity of culture can be a strength in some cases, but in most cases, it's a hindrance. To be honest with you, it really is. Diversity in skin don't make us strong. Diversity of cultures, in like super rooted cultures, ain't gonna make a situation strong either. You have to have a union somewhere. That's what it is. A combined culture of diversity can work, but just diversity culture, we've seen it. Because again, when you have Minnesota, we have all the little African, little Somali, and all the little stuff. Don't happen. Up in Denmark, it was in Denmark. When you have the African, a lot of the Africans who went up there for asylum and stuff like that, they were doing gangs and all that stuff right there. Their culture is not blending in with the other culture. Multiculturalism has its limits, and majority of the time it does not. But when you have this, when you come up for the same common good, that's a different story. But everybody was like, diversity is our strength. Diversity in thought is our strength. I could see that. Diversity is looking at things differently. I could see that. I'm not saying it's 100%, but I could see that. But again, the DEI agents that's all over the places right now, yeah, they're not good for no business, because you know what? They're looking after themselves. They're making their money. So they want to keep you, hey, you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic, you're this. They're doing all that nonsense just so you guys so they could get billions of dollars. It's a new hustle. So shout out to John Stossel about this. This is a very good topic I want to get into. So let's talk about it.
equity and inclusion are everyone's responsibility.
You've been hearing about DEI training. It's supposed to make us aware of our unconscious prejudice. But a former DEI trainer, Rhetoric Professor Erec Smith, says today's DEI training does more harm than good.
What? Really? See, keep on speaking, man.
Here's my entire interview with Smith. People do need to be woken up.
Yeah, and that was the point. You know, diversity walk or something like that, when somebody says how many people grew up in a single parent household and things like that.
If you were encouraged to attend college by your parents and your family members, take one step forward.
The diversity or privilege walk is...
And we talked a lot about this. I showed it from the UK and I showed it from the American side. The way they do this stuff here, which is stupid. Yes. My mom forced me to not forced me. My mom said, "Hey, do you want to go to college?" I never did get to college, and I got my degrees. But like I said, I've said it before. You don't need to go to college to do good stuff. Okay? You don't. Go to a trade school. Go to a college. Look for a certain trade. Do not put yourself in thousands of dollars of debt for a job that's only worth $30,000, $40,000. It's stupid. That's a stupid thing to do. If you're gonna do STEM, different story.
Supposed to teach us how much more or less privilege we have.
If you grew up in a household with two parents, step forward. And at the end of it, you know, the most privileged people are in front and the least privileged people are in back.
Privilege.
I did that, but it wasn't to guilt anybody. It wasn't to say, you know, you need to check your privilege. It was to say, look at the world here. Look at what's going on.
Yeah.
We should be aware of these things.
Why not tell people to check their privilege? Some of us have privilege.
Yeah, that is true. But what I gotta do with me? Yes, let's use an example. Donald Trump was born rich. He has a family. His father was rich. He was rich. Paris Hilton was rich. He got a family rich. If they ain't affecting me straight up in that regard, unless they're doing the bull crap like I'm saying right now, like how they do in the politicians, that's what it is. I don't care about it. Can I tell you that they're rich and they don't have no talent? Yeah, but that don't mean nothing.
Yes, but some of us are accomplished, and that's being called
privilege.
And
That's
yeah. That's unfair.
That's true.
It's one thing to be born on third base and act like you hit a triple. It's another thing to be born on first base and still second, right? And again, third. You know, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And that's frowned upon now?
Well,
Yeah.
it's frowned upon by people who find it strategic to frown upon it.
Yes.
Yes. If you can keep this race thing going, then you'll always have a business in getting rid of racism.
Exactly. That's what it is. That's why the government don't care about you being equitable, being whatever. They always say, "Oh, let's do equitable. Let's help people. Let's help the defund the police." As the squad said, defund the police because we don't want this, blah, 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 blah. They just want that because, you know, all they want from me is...
Taxes! Beautiful, lovely taxes!
Thanks for taking my money, asshole.
Exactly.
Even Ibram X. Kendi proposed a branch of government, right, regarding anti-racism. And what do you need to justify that? You need racism.
Bingo!
It's in his best interest to perpetuate racism. You know,
So it's funny. He's talking about racism. Same thing with I forgot that woman for I forgot that woman the name of her who's also she stated that she's a racist.
In order to maintain a career, then there are people who are like, wow, well, this is a
billion-dollar
industry.
Exactly.
You know, do my trainings and things like that, and accuse people of racism just to keep it perpetuated, right? To keep it going, so that it never goes away, so that I'm making my money or.
It is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes, it
is.
Every big company.
Yeah.
They feel they have to.
Right, and there it is. They feel like they have to. They have to say something. They have to signal to the world that they're doing something.
Which they ain't doing nothing, and they're making it worse. And again, like I said, they're doing it to keep you separate, to keep things, arguments, and people bickering so they don't see the sleight of hand of how they being robbed right in front of their eyes.
That something is effective or not is secondary.
Exactly.
It
No.
doesn't seem to be effective.
No.
In fact, it seems to be doing worse. It seems
Thank
to be
you.
making people less likely to interact with people who are unlike them.
Yep.
You know, because it's like a minefield now.
Less likely to interact.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. After a training where you hear things about microaggressions, right? Microaggressions. If you ask somebody what they do for a living, somehow that's racist, right? If you learn that, then why would you take a chance?
I better not talk to Eric because I might say something wrong.
Precisely.
Jeez.
Any other ideas about this not working?
Well, if you compel people, you know, to go to certain things just out of pure resentment, they may, you know, back away and rebel. I saw that myself even when I was doing diversity training that wasn't especially woke.
All this money is spent, all these courses, all this time. Why doesn't it get the results they want?
Well, it might be getting the results they want. Depends on who you mean by they.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the point. They want the result, which is basically money. That's what it is. Nothing else. Oh, we're going to help. No, they're not. Even Lex Kendi, I don't pronounce his name right. He ain't got no real talent. He just makes garbage. The girl, Fragility, White Fragility, D'Angelo. She said herself she's a racist. But people still buy her book saying, oh yeah, well, we're going to do this so we can stop racism from a racist person. Huh? How does that work?
Why doesn't it bring racial harmony to the office?
Because diversity, equity, and inclusion, those words don't mean what most people think they mean.
Exactly.
Diversity is diversity of
Bodies.
of skin color.
Not thought.
Diversity, not of thought. You know, you can have many different bodies, but they have to be, you know, basically on the same page ideologically.
That's why I said, again, my phrase at the end of the show, I don't care evil. I don't care if you're a good person, you're white, you're a good person, you're black, you're a good person, you're Hispanic, good person, you're Asian, good person, you're trans, good person that you're gay, lesbian, or whatever. If you're good, because I know trans people who are not crazy for Cocoa Pups like some of the trans who keep arguing to go that stuff. I know a lot of gays and lesbians who are nice people. I might not agree on their lifestyle, but we don't talk about it. But they will help a person and provide them with a shirt off their back. That's their way of doing it. I got a problem against those people. But the ones who are like, let me get it straight. We can't get, you know, the small percentage of gays and lesbians and the trans people. The small version of those is where we get the problem at, because they're the ones who are the loudest and just makes it horrible for other people.
That page is often something akin to critical social justice. Inclusion means, well, you can't make people uncomfortable. And in a world of microaggressions, that's easy to do. So now inclusion means I'm going to silence myself and not talk to the black people, right? And equity, as most people know, does not mean equality. It means equality of
outcomes. Yep.
Right? We have to make sure everybody ends up at the same place, no matter how they got there, which is why we get rid of aptitude tests, which is why we get rid of AP classes, which is why we have equitable math and things like that.
Equitable
Too
math.
many Asians and whites in the AP class.
Apparently, or not enough black people. and that's interesting. It's easy to say people are doing this out of resentment, right? But some people may be doing this out of love. You know, is it hate for white people or love for black people? You know, and what's motivating them? Now, yes, they're still misguided.
Yes.
But they see this as, well, the ends justify the means, and the ends are racial equality and black dignity. So I'm going to do what I have to do.
But it's real. We whites have most of the power, most of the money. We hold most of the high positions. Some of that is genuine achievement. Some is racism.
Yeah. So what do? You give other people the opportunity to acquire those things themselves.
Exactly.
Get them into a good school. You bring back institutions like churches and other after-school programs.
Exactly.
You teach them what it means to be an entrepreneur
in the world.
It's not just about
victimhood.
Victimhood. Not just about white oppressors.
Amen. 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 Thank you.
Some of that going on, but there's also some agency that we have, to get to where we want to go. And if we keep saying, well, there's nothing we can do, we can't win because of the white oppressor, then what is that going to do to an entire group of people? Nothing good.
Yeah, because you're going to make a bunch of people be lazy and look for the easiest goal out. And again, by doing that, you're hurting yourself because most of the times you don't achieve it. So when that plan falls through, what you going to do? But if you have a skill, if you go there and work and you do the right thing, yeah, you could at least fall back on the skill that you learned.
And what's it going to do if you say being on time is not a good thing?
Right.
See, that was just bill crap.
Or that,
that's bull crap.
A standardized English, at least having proficiency in it, is a form of oppression. What do you?
That's
really
crazy.
I mean, if you wanted to hold down a group of people without them knowing it, this woke thing is a good strategy.
Another example. This is a LinkedIn course by Robin DiAngelo.
Yes, inspired by Robin DiAngelo anyway.
Inspired.
Yes.
And this blew up on the internet. Why?
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, it was Coca-Cola that got caught doing this. I show this to my students every semester as an exegesis. So what do you do, conflict management? What do you do when your company does this? I actually use that example as a kind of lesson. But what was happening there is a diversity training in which whiteness in general was the problem. And the thesis statement, if you will, of this training was try to be less white.
Try to be less white means?
Try to be less European or Eurocentric or more Enlightenment driven. Try to be less classically liberal.
Be less oppressive. Be less arrogant. Be less ignorant. It's reasonable.
That is by no means a white thing.
Exactly.
The point is to demonize the other side as much as possible. Marcuse called this repressive tolerance. Nothing the other side can do can be accepted. You have to demonize them in all ways.
And the white leaders of these groups pay money to be
trashed.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a rite of passage.
Yep.
Right?
Hundreds of studies suggest anti-bias training doesn't reduce bias.
I believe that. Yeah, I mean, what it's doing is creating more chaos.
Yeah.
In certain places. Now, maybe there are places that are having, big issues with race relations and things like that, and that can be dealt with in various ways. But some places are, people are getting along, right? They're working well together. But the implicit bias training is put there because human resources said we have to do this, right? And now we're thinking about things like, I want to ask this guy what time it is, but is that bad? In some way, that has to be bad now.
Because you're overthinking all the stuff now, and your interactions are not genuine because you're scared to have a true interaction with somebody because you could lose your job. What the hell? That's so stupid.
Right? So you get people apprehensive and they're not talking to each other anymore.
Asking people to suppress stereotypes tends to reinforce them.
Well, now you're thinking about it more, right?
Yeah.
If you're constantly thinking about, am I going to say something wrong? Then you're thinking about saying something wrong. You're thinking about those stereotypes. So yes, it puts these things in the forefront
of your mind.
Of our minds.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a good thing.
Researchers looked at 800 companies after mandatory DEI trainings. 5 years later, no increase in diversity of hiring.
There's nothing.
Really? No increase at all. Shocking, as my boy Tripp would say.
9% fall in how many black women were hired.
It's one thing to say they don't work. It's another thing to say they
fail.
Worse, right? You would think that people would see that data and change their minds or change their methodologies or something like that. It's not about
data
that, though.
doesn't seem to have much to do with it.
No. It's
nope.
Not. It doesn't have much to do with it. It's not about data. It's not really about material change, right? It's about a power grab. It's about a culture change.
And they're winning, it seems to me.
They're winning in certain contexts, yes. They seem to be winning in my field anyway, of rhetoric and composition.
Academia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the humanities, social sciences, things like that.
Yep.
And now more and more the
science, which is weird.
Medicine even. But I don't think it's that bad there.
Why isn't it that bad?
I think those fields are more steeped in reason, scientific method. The barriers of idiocy, if you will, are thicker there already.
But I just saw all these medical students reciting privilege messages.
We recognize inequities built by past and present traumas rooted in white supremacy, colonialism, the gender binary, ableism, and all forms of oppression.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
That looked like a cult more than supposed to be learned for doctoring. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's happening. I think a lot of this is performance as well. A lot of this is what people call virtue signaling. That virtue signaling is reaching, you know, theatrical proportions.
I know, yep.
What made you think something was wrong?
Well, I thought something was wrong for a while. I didn't realize how wrong it was until 2019, when a keynote address at the primary conference for my field, college composition and communication.
Melt to the steel bars of racism and white language supremacy.
The keynote argued that, among other things, teaching standard English to students of color, particularly black students, is inherently racist.
If you use a single standard to grade your students' languaging, you engage in racism.
It's racist to...
This is the part I don't like. That's what I said. That's a white person telling you that you're stupid, but we should not enlighten you to get you to a better situation. Teach you the right way. Teach you not to do stuff. Teach you so you could get out there and make your own money. No, they want you to be in a pen, in a box, where you could be a good little boy or girl. They pat you on the head. Don't worry, we'll take care of racism, while they make tons of money and you stay poor.
Teach black kids standard English. That perpetuates white supremacy.
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, I'm teaching my if I get children, I'm teaching my kids standard English. The hell with you crazy people.
That's the idea, right? And even the presence of white professors is a problem. That does some kind of psychic harm to students of color.
Not really.
So I heard that, thought it was a bit misguided.
BS.
And said so on a listserv in my field, the Writing Program Administrators listserv. I put it out there basically in a long-form way, asking, is this really a good idea? Is this the best way to go about this? And what ensued was hardly a conversation. It was more like a
of course,
mobbing.
Not surprising.
You wrote, I'm concerned that the current leadership will have you believe that teaching standard English experiences tyranny by our black and brown co-eds.
Yes, so what they're saying is that to have students of color, especially black students who are descendants of slaves and things like that, to, on top of everything, force them to speak in a way that isn't their language, or write more appropriately in a language that isn't theirs, is inherently oppressive. The idea is that if you learn one dialect, you're replacing another. There's no idea that you're adding a dialect to your repertoire of dialects.
Oh,
that's not a possibility. You know, it has to be rendered as some kind of oppressor-oppressed dichotomy in order to fit a particular narrative.
And isn't it unfair? I mean, I have German parents who learned English in school, and they learned the supposed proper English. It gives a black kid who grew up without hearing that a disadvantage.
All the more reason for that black kid to learn it.
Thank you.
At the high school or college level.
Yeah.
This is about practicality. It's about pragmatism.
Yes.
It's about looking at a certain situation, gauging the audience, and making sure that you speak or write in a way that will, best persuade them, best get their attention. The whole point of rhetoric is to gauge your situation and act, speak, or write accordingly. Aristotle's definition is the primary definition of rhetoric. Rhetoric is the ability in any given situation to discern the available means of persuasion. So what's available, that depends on who your
audience is,
what they already know, what they want to know, what their values are, things like that. So if your goal is to persuade, you're going to do whatever it takes to persuade them. And if you can learn a dialect that is prominent in most civic and professional situations in America anyway, you'll be better able to do that. So there's a practicality here that's being ignored. It's all about, this black students are being eclipsed in some way. Their cultures are being suppressed. That's hardly the case.
So you, for arguing this, thought there'd be a discussion.
Well, I mean, we are professors in communication. I thought we could communicate.
Exactly.
You know? I was so wrong. I guess people were sick of the conversation. People often said, we had this conversation already, aren't we past this? And as a rhetorician, you can't say things like that. You're never past a conversation. There's always somebody else who has a say. And if they don't have a say, this is not a pluralistic and civil society. This is something very different. The philosopher Kenneth Burke had a kind of allegory, the parlor allegory, where there's a conversation going on at a party, and you go in, and you can't just start talking right away. You don't know what the topic is. So
exactly. You got to listen a little bit.
In order to contribute, you have to first listen, and then you speak accordingly. You know, that's what we're trying to teach students, or that's what I thought anyway. Now it's about dignity and decentering whiteness.
Instead of a discussion, people called you racist.
The irony of that. Huh? How that makes sense? The irony of that they call it you racist because you want to teach people to talk proper, open up their minds, see the horizon, look at things differently, but you're racist as a black man because you want to do this for your black kids. To me, that is the definition of crazy.
What? What the fuck?
Craziness.
Do you enjoy using Western modes of argument to invalidate people of color?
What?
Check your privilege.
Yeah.
Oh, so he got privilege now, even though he's... This is where it gets crazy.
Oh, that old chestnut. Check your privilege. Yeah, that happened. And it happened because what they saw in me was a bigger threat than anything they've seen before.
An educated black person.
A black person saying it's okay to teach black students standardized English.
Exactly.
It's a threat because when a white person does it, oh, of course you don't understand this. But when I do it, it's a more difficult challenge, right? So they have to, pull out all the stops.
And they did. People piled on. Professor at Portland State said, "Thank you, powerful post," to the person who criticized you. "Thank you, Eve. Eve spent tremendous labor, physically, intellectually, and emotionally, to write his response, and most probably took him extra time to recover from that labor." It's like they're victims everywhere.
Yes. Exactly. That's what they are. They just victims.
Nani?
Perfect saying.
Well, that's the point. You have to perpetuate the victimhood. That's part of the narrative. The victimhood is being used here as a cudgel of sorts to gain power, right? And to try to decenter what they see as what they're calling anyway, whiteness or toxic whiteness or white supremacy or something like that. It's a power grab. It's a dignity grab, you know, and that's all it is.
Are they crazy? This just isn't even logical discussion. Has
exactly
academia gone insane?
Yes, that's the short answer. Yes, it has gone insane.
Yeah.
But it's not logic, because you need logic. You need reason to build things, right? They want to tear things down. The last thing you want is logic and reason when you want to tear things down. That will slow down the process. If anything.
And that's what Orwell was talking about in his book in Animal Farm and also 1984. That's what he was talking about.
There has been stuff that ought to be torn down, right? There has been white supremacy and white control.
Yes.
Right. There has been all that stuff, and it has been dealt with and is being dealt with in several
ways. Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of what's going on in my field is more idealist
than real. Yes,
realist.
that is so
and
true.
What I mean by that is, it's easier to change the name of a bridge. It's easier to tell somebody to check their privilege than it is to actually change things institutionally. So they perform this activism and call that progress, right? When in reality, it's really just theater.
What?
Exactly. Really, it's just theater. That's what it is. And like I said, I could add more to that, and I think I'll do that. So I'll end it tonight here. I want to thank you guys for giving me your time and ears on stuff. I'll end it here. We're going to pick up on this with a little more nuances again next week, Thursday. So hope you guys could join us for that, because it's needed. As you can see, it's all a farce, but it's a multi-billion-dollar farce. And that's why they want to keep it going. They don't want it to stop, because they know you're stopping the moolah, man. You're stopping money. How dare you stop the cash coming in? And that's why the politicians do that. When you hear Al Sharpton say his what you gotta say, he don't care about black people like that. He care about money. Look at it. Go on YouTube and go to the Breakfast Club and see the Breakfast Club going against Vimaswamy and also Larry Elder. See how that works out. Vimaswamy, not an immigrant, but from immigrant parents and learn how to work hard. And Larry Elder, who talk about fathers and women how to work hard. Look how that worked out. Bang, bang, boom. On a black show, the black show thought they were all dignity and right saying what they're saying, but it come off like a piece of crap.
You piece of loser.
Charlamagne the God and that lady Teresa, whatever her name is, she made the most dumbest arguments that I've ever heard in my life. Talk about Vimaswamy about, oh, where have you been a leader? Have you been head of school council? Chick, he ran a multi-billion company and made 6 life-saving drugs. I think that's more important than becoming a stupid student president. Flipping hell. So stupid. But again, it's a game. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to play. So you got to keep your eyes open for that. Alright? So you know what? We'll pick up this part 2 next week, next Thursday. Basically right now, guys, you can also check on Project Open Mic on YouTube. There are going to be more videos that's going to be on there. Basically, I'm going to be putting up more stuff about my church, Classes Church, for Sunday shows. So you guys got to listen to something on Sundays. And friend of the show, I'm going to put on some Bible studies and stuff like that. Sam Watson, he's going to be doing stuff on a week as well. Weekdays, so you'll be catching out for that. And then me and my wife, we did a little couple straight no chasers, so keep an eye out on that. It's also going to be on Project Open Mic, the channel on YouTube, guys. Check it out. With that said, take care of yourself, take care of family. Again, for those out there who got affected by the storm, I hope everything is good. Hope you didn't lose nobody. If you're that, my condolences go to you. But be careful, the hurricane season is not over yet, so keep your guard up. Prepare for the worst, because again, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's basically one of my life models. But with that said, people come in all shapes, size, color, creed, height, sex, nationality, genders. It makes no difference. Evil's evil. Alright? And you see what you gotta do right here. You gotta take care of yourself. then your family, then your neighbor, then your community, because that's where it is. I've shown multiple videos in the last show where your company, where the community is what you need, because the government ain't gonna do that much stuff to help you anyway. But last but not least, all right, people are stupid, individuals are smart. Be that smart individual. Have a blessed night. Take care of yourself, and we will catch you next time right back here on Project with Mike Thursdays. And remember, go to your favorite platform and put in Project with Mike if you want to hear it, audio or visual. All right. Peace. Have a good night. Take care of yourself.